Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is David Beeson. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Tara Waldron, the owner of Homestead Title. We are going to be talking about her business, journey to business ownership, challenges and best practices, and share what it's really like to build and operate a business. Tara, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Sure. So my name is Tara Waldron, as you said. I am a business owner of an all-female owned and operated title company. So we do residential and commercial closings for any property located in Louisiana or Mississippi. We are based out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And, I've been in this industry for over 10 years exclusively. I am an attorney. I went to Loyola Law School in New Orleans. I did, undergraduate at the University of Alabama, which can be a little dangerous sometimes in the state of Louisiana, but they put up with me nonetheless. And met my husband there. He brought me back here. So here we are in New Orleans. And we have one little boy. We are constantly juggling life between his job, my job, and our son's schedule. And other than that, I spend the rest of my time really volunteering with the community through various organizations and my little boy's school.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Me and my wife were actually expecting our first kid as well. So gonna be trying to figure out how to juggle all that life stuff as well here pretty soon.
Yeah, congratulations. It's a wild ride because they always need you when you're in the middle of something. So it's always a roller coaster.
Yeah. So kind of to set the stage for the audience, generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Are you the sole
Mhm.
founder and owner? Do you have a business partner, outside investors?
I have two business partners. They are both women, one of which works full time as another attorney. She works full time with my office. The other was with us for some time full time and then recently went out to do something else, but is still a business owner. So, we just adjusted our operating agreement to make that make sense because she wouldn't be here in the day in, day out. And other than that, it's just three of us and our staff. We have two full time staff members and two one attorney, but also two contract employees.
Gotcha, gotcha. So tell us a little bit about what role you currently play in the business. Like, what's your day-to-day like?
It really varies in a title company. I might be super busy running around the world, as I call it, doing closings because we do offer closings in a variety of different locations. We have four locations locally, and then I tend to do about 80% of my closings outside of those locations, either at a real estate agent's office or at a bank. So, and honestly, even sometimes if it's a refinance and it's a busy person, I might be able to go into their business and do it. I really just need access to a copier and the ability to email something and we can make it happen. But when we're out there, that day it can turn into me driving around all day with papers in my car. During COVID, it
Yeah.
was a table too, all those kinds of things. If I'm in the office, I'm certainly paying the bills, monitoring emails. I step in and help our processors when they need help. When we have a busy day upcoming, that tends to happen more often because when I'm out of the office running around doing everything, the ideal situation is that everything has been done in the days before. And when everything's happening, supposed to close on one day, then that means that in the 2 or 3 days before, our office is slammed with requests and updates and other necessary paperwork that needs to be completed. So when that happens, I'm stepping in and I'm doing the same work that I'm asking my employees to do.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Um, so many business owners struggle with time and things like that. So this is kind of a fun question I always like to ask. If I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours? Would it be in the business, personal life, family?
10 hours each week. It would be probably split between both, honestly. One of the things that I am really passionate about, like I said, is volunteerism in the community. So I would look to do something for my community, whether that be school community, whether that be other nonprofits that I'm invested in. But the other half would certainly be within my business and marketing my business and letting more people know about the fact that we exist, that we are here as a resource to them. I certainly don't expect every person I meet or connect with to use me exclusively, but every now and then would be good enough, right? And if
Yeah.
you enjoy that enough, then hopefully you come to us even more. But let's just start with every now and then.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I'm curious, why'd you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to choosing to work for someone else? I know you said that you did for a long time. What was
Yeah.
the transition like?
It was actually a really interesting transition because I truly had no interest in opening a title company. Title companies are very expensive to run. They're especially expensive to start up because you have to have everything in place beforehand to really get going, as far as making sure that you can handle all of the auditing that goes on, not just from your title underwriters, but also lenders. You've got to do a lot of tracking, and that just, unfortunately costs money. And money is not something that, all of us have out the gate to start a business, whether it's a one-man show, one-woman show, or 10 people. So it was not something that I was really looking to do. The more that time has gone on, I would say that being a business owner in my industry, the cost has increased with that. There have been some innovations that have helped, but overall the cost has increased. The federal government continues to put new requirements on us that require us to do another service or have more help in office, something along those lines. So anything along those lines is really challenging for us. So, like I said, was not looking. I was working for a title company owned by a bank, and at that point, I was a manager, but not the office manager of that company. I was just one of the other managers. And we went through a transition with the bank where the bank ultimately decided, even though they had owned us for over 80 years, they no longer wanted to own a title company in the
Mm.
market and in the world that we live in today. There was a lot of reasons for that, very valid ones. I could understand and was not overly surprised by that decision. I was surprised by the timing because I had had some conversations that led me to think, and basically was told to my face that if we met certain goals that we would not be closed. And unfortunately, even though we met those goals, the decision was made to do otherwise anyway. So
Okay.
they arrived at work that morning, and I looked out the back window and you could see the whole parking lot. And I saw every member of the HR team pull up and get out of the car. And I called one of my now business partners, but at the time just another manager, and I said, "It's not good. They're all here." Sure enough, we all
Yeah.
pile in the room, all the staff. We're at the big conference table where we do closings, and they ripped the band-aid off and told us that they were going to close us and that they wanted it done by a certain date. And you know title has a lot more to it than just a banking department, right? So when you do title, you're involved with the insurance department, you're involved with I have a state bar license, all of these things, and there are some other requirements outside of that. So we kind of had to coach them through what that even looks like. But in the course of that initial conversation, I've got my very best long-term processor that I've been working with for ages now. And she's sitting in the room, she's crying. We had a few people really upset. The manager of the company at that time was just mad. And I sat there and I was neither. I was just kind of neutral. I thought to myself, I wonder if they'll let us have it. And so they wind up the meeting. We go back in the back room, and we asked, do you have any interest in us allowing us to take over this company and buy you out? And it was like they had never even considered it. So then we embarked on, I would say, really not 6 to 9 month journey of purchasing the business from them, going through all that. They were very gracious in allowing that to happen. They did not have to do it that way. They certainly could have done it the way that they originally planned, but they granted us the opportunity to buy it from them. And on April 15th of 2020, right in the midst of the pandemic kicking off,
Oh, wow.
we took ownership. So that it was very different. We had to be out of the building within 6 months, just things like that. There was a lot of caveats, but they were very generous with that situation. And really, without it, I probably would have just gone to work for somebody else.
Yeah, what was that like for you? Start like getting ownership of the business right in the middle of COVID? Because I know like that first year, I'm in Texas, so in the South it was a little different, around 2021 to like
Hmm.
like early 2022, things started opening back up. But what was it like having like trying to run the business, starting it right in the middle of the pandemic?
There were multiple things going on. So the first thing was that the manager that I told you that was mad, he ended up leaving um, in at the end of the year in 2019. So we entered 2020. We knew that we were trying to do this buyout. And in the meantime, the bank had me come in and serve as the manager of the company and manage the closeout of the company. And I had to be very honest with them and say, you do realize that as I'm closing out this company, I'm also opening mine. And that's going to happen at the same time.
Hmm.
And they understood. Again, they were very gracious about it. So I'm wearing two hats at once, literally. And we're having to move out in the middle of a pandemic. But at the same time, the title industry was booming in 2020. I mean, that's when those rates were at 2%. I had a couple of
Yeah.
VA loans that were like 1.9, which is crazy. We will never see that again. But so we had a good run there. That's when I mentioned the table in my car at one point. I was pulling up in front of businesses. I remember going to schools where teachers were preparing for the school year and putting my table out and helping them do their refinance or their purchase. Just it was a strange time to be sure. A lot of time spent in parking lots.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and holding down all my paper stacks. But I got used to that and adjusted for it. And, now looking back, it's like, wow, I can't believe we actually did that. And then from a work life balance perspective, it was really challenging because we were so crazy busy. We were going through this transition. Meanwhile, my husband was working nights downtown, and our little boy's daycare was closed. So we had to get real creative. I have younger siblings, one of which was in college at the time, and she came in 2 days a week to help me with my son. Another 2 days a week, one of the daycare workers I shared with another parent, and our kids got together 2 days a week and just paid her to handle the boys. And then on the last day, my husband worked all night long on Thursday nights and would just come home and stay with our son all day because Fridays are a very big day in the title industry generally because people want to get into their new home over the weekend, move, all of those kinds of things. So Fridays tend to be really busy. So it was a tough time for sure, but it was an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like it. I'm curious. So, like, I don't, obviously, I don't work in like the real estate climate
Hmm.
or title climate or anything like that. But generally speaking, just from like what my friends and my family have said, the last couple years seem to have been pretty rough for the real
Hmm.
estate industry. So, how has that affected you guys?
Oh gosh, it has been extremely rough.
Yeah.
When you worry about whether or not you're going to make payroll, whether or
Mm,
not you're going to get a paycheck, that's not pleasant for anybody in any job, right? I would say as a business owner, it's worse because people are relying on you, and so that can take its toll for sure. It's stressful. Um, we operate a little differently going back to our structure. So a lot of title companies in our area, and I know it's different everywhere, but a lot of title companies in our area have a variety of different offices, and there are individual teams at each office that handle the whole file. So a lot of times a real estate agent will say to me, okay, like I want to close this file in this location. Who do I need to send it to? And I know right away then that they're used to that system because you have to send it to that particular office.
mm,
Ours is different. We do everything centrally. So you can close at any of our locations or a location of your choosing, but at the end of the day, all of our processing is done from one location. So we don't have, first of all, that confusion issue, but we also it kind of protected us because we don't have as many people spread out all over. We're a little smaller, and
mm.
it helps us whether our numbers are really big as far as files coming in or much lower. You can manage that better when you are essentially processed and having to close offices in different locations and things like that because you simply can't pay the staff there anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. So, what is one thing you wish more people knew about your business? Like the everyday person like me.
Twofold. I wish that they knew that they can do their own shopping around a little bit more. A lot of times they rely on their real estate agent or their lender, and those are great sources of business for me. Do not get me wrong. But I can't get in front of every real estate agent and lender all the time. I am certainly trying. So certainly, go out and get your own numbers and quotes and talk to people who you feel comfortable with. I also, this is very in the weeds of what I do, but the importance of an owner's title policy and how it protects the owner of a property is just a fundamental piece of protecting your wealth. And I don't think that that is necessarily portrayed through those other outlets. It is because of federal regulations listed as optional on things you get from your lender and other things like that. So it's one of those things that while they see that and they think, oh, this is a way I can save money, when you are purchasing or investing in property, that is really how America over time, Americans have built their wealth through property. And you want to make sure that you're protecting your investment and the money that you're putting into it. I don't own a single property that does not have an owner's title insurance policy. I know that technically I am an insurance salesman, right? I have a title insurance license, but at the end of the day, I'm not asking you to do something that I'm not doing for myself.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So transitioning real quick to marketing,
Mm-hmm.
I have a background in digital marketing, and I went to school for marketing and film and TV production. So
Mm.
I love marketing, and I grew up in a my dad's run a marketing company since I was like 9. So I'm really curious, what percentage of your monthly sales is typically invested back into your marketing budget?
I would say it tends to be around 20 to 25%.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Again, title industry is very expensive, so we have a lot of cost to cover. And then, salaries and everything else. We have kind of a different marketing look than a lot of other industries. It's a very relationship based. So, I'm looking to go out and make personal relationships and create and grow relationships with real estate agents, loan officers, people who are investing in property regularly, even other attorneys who want to handle commercial closings but don't want to carry a title insurance license, right? We have some ways that we can kind of help with that. So it's a little bit different model. We have seen in recent years that, you know, direct consumer marketing is starting to make a difference in that. And so we tried to start to invest more in that than we had previously.
Gotcha, gotcha. So what approach do you guys have to tracking your leads? Do y'all have a CRM you prefer?
We have a system that we use for all of our closings and it holds all of our information securely. And within there, we have a CRM. So it's kind of something that's within the systems that we're already working. Prior to this system, honestly, it was a bit of a mess. Part of that is because of the bank owning us. And there was one point where we had no marketing when the bank owned us because the bank required all of their files closed with the company. And when that happens, you don't need marketing because it's just coming right in. It actually doesn't matter what you do. One of the things that I think is really interesting about this industry is there is certainly business aplenty for all the title companies in the area, but we all do the same thing at the end of the day, and we're subject to really, I mean, as far as title insurance policies go, that's state regulated. So what sets you apart? What sets you apart is what resources can you provide that people find of value? And that's certainly changed over the years. Now we're offering Canva classes to real estate agents, right? Where before we might have been offering them something else. We're trying to help them learn to market their business and because at the end of the day, they're independent contractors, their business and their listings and their successes. So I think that we've seen over time just a change in the market, and that's one of the things I love about it is that it's always changing. It's one of the things that is a challenge too, though.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned having a few team members.
Mhm.
I'm curious, how big is the team?
So right now there are 7 right now. Um, Truly 4 that are in 5, excuse me, 5 that are every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. And then we bring in additional people who we worked with before, and some of which were full time with us at other points in their lives, for specific types of files or specific things. So I think it's always really important to be really flexible with your hiring, because there is points where you need more and there are points where you need less. And if you can find people to hire who are looking for that kind of situation, it's just to everyone's benefit.
Gotcha. So how would you describe your leadership style in business? Has it changed over the years?
I think it has. I've never been a micromanager. It is not my style by any means. Certainly more of a lead by example type of person, so that has not changed. But when you go from managing an office to managing a company, it's a little bit different than when you're, just going from one place to another, or changing roles within even one company. So I think that my leadership style is really geared towards making sure that my team is comfortable with what we're asking them to do, making sure that I'm listening to their feedback, and providing opportunities to train them in however they want to grow within our company. So one of the great things that I love about the title industry, yes, I am an attorney, but you do not have to be an attorney to be an owner of a title company. You do not have to be an attorney technically to close a file. You do have to be a notary or have a notary present, right? So if someone wanted to come out of high school, start working for a title company, learn the ins and outs, get their notary license, you could really be the higher end of the title industry world purely on your own merit, which I think is really awesome and a little unusual in today's economy.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Real quick, are you ready to transition to some rapid fire questions?
Sure. Do my
Awesome.
best.
What is the key to success for you?
The key to success is listening.
Yeah, I
Listening
love
to
that.
what they want, listening to what they're saying, and putting your own mindset on a side.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. What is your one piece of advice for other business owners?
I think mine would be just to don't stress about the success or failure of your business over much, because it's really not about that. It's about the what you're learning through the process, and that's something that this economy has taught me. And I'm proud of the successes that we've had, but don't let it affect every aspect of your life, even if it's stressful.
Yeah. What is a book or podcast you're reading or listening to right now?
I am reading currently The Man Who Died Twice. It is a book that they just did the Netflix movie, the first one, Thursday Night Murder Club. So
Nice.
I've been enjoying that, and I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good, pretty on point.
So this one's kind of a fun question. If you had a little bit of magic dust and you could choose one spot in your business to sprinkle it and everything would be perfect, where would it be and why?
I think that would be the magic dust, would be to bring everyone up to the same level of technology, that where we're all the same, right? You don't ever have to coach somebody through or learning a new piece of technology. I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, especially with all the new AI tools out there and everything like that.
It's just constantly evolving, and you've got to bring everybody on the team along with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to the final question of the day, would you like to share with the audience how they can follow you guys, learn more, contact y'all?
Sure. So our website is, of course, a key spot, www.homesteadtitlecorp, C-O-R-P as in Paul.com. We are also on Instagram and Facebook, Homestead NOLA. So you can find us there. I often pop in with some videos and just, interesting tidbits about some things going on in our area.
Awesome. Well, we've come to the final question of the day, and that is what is most inspiring to you today?
I am really inspired by seeing women achieve greater things, and that those things are in their lives, whether it be personal or professional, things that they want, right? Sometimes we kind of get drug along a path, and you find yourself somewhere, but really working towards a goal and seeing women be able to achieve that goal and get through different challenges that they are going through to get there, That's what inspires me. That's what gets me through. I spoke about volunteerism and the importance of community involvement. Last year, I was the president of the Junior League of New Orleans, really seeing the amount of need in the community and the way that people across the board, but women in particular, are meeting those needs. That can inspire you to do anything.
Yeah, no, I love that. Well, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed getting to hear your story, so thank you for sharing. Also, I just want to encourage all of you watching to save the show and come back and watch it again because Tara really did have some great insights for business. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that way you get notifications every time a new conversation drops just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to you, Tara, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I will see all of y'all in the next episode.